today. It's Steve Davis, the champion, against Neal Foulds. Steve, we saw win the first 2 frames, and there we are. It's 39-36 to Neal in frame 3. He's at the table, having a good look at this one, and let's enjoy this particular frame before we go off the air in around 10 minutes from now.
It would appear from that shot that the red isn't quite on, so he's going to have to bend the cue ball slightly. It's a good shot. The angle of the pot on the blue will carry Neal to the next red, so he needs a good pot now.
Neal Foulds.
Not a good one from Neal. In previous matches he's been potting balls like that consistently. Just hasn't settled down yet.
Well, that red was right into the back of the pocket and out again. I don't hold Davis at fault for that one.
Neal Foulds.
It's a scrappy frame, this one. Davis needs to clear to the blue to leave Foulds needing a snooker.
7. Davis.
Yes, Steve left a nice angle on the brown to get back to the blue. In missing the green, however, he hasn't left it on by any means. Neal has the task now of keeping it safe.
Safe enough in there. Played the pot with safety in mind, and now that he's got it, he can count himself a bit unlucky that he doesn't have the angle from the brown to get on the blue.
Neal call.
Had to trust to luck there. And it's very important that Foulds wins this frame to get off the mark.
Now, that's one of the top shots of the championship to date. Difficult ball to pot Neal had there, and he's positioned onto the blue very, very nicely.
Blue and pink needed.
Nine.
That'll make him feel better. Neal Foulds takes the third frame, but Steve Davis still leads by 2 frames to 1.
And we'll have more of that match. 8 frames they have to play in this first session of their quarter-final, when we're back here in around 15 minutes from now. Stephen Hendry against Darren Morgan, 4 all, 8 very good frames we've already seen live in this first session. And this afternoon, 3 o'clock, they come out for the start of the other 2 quarter-finals. Jimmy White playing Terry Griffiths and John Parrott playing Cliff Thorburn. And beside me now is John Parrott playing Cliff Thorburn this afternoon. John Parrott, runner-up last year. And across on the other table, if we just whip across, is Jimmy White playing Terry Griffiths. All to be seen later on. We're back in 15 minutes. See you then.
24. 29. Thirty.
Davis can't put Foulds at the snooker's required stage unless he gets both these reds.
Now there's an opportunity here for Steve to bring the last remaining red out from the side cushion, should he pot this red, that is. And then all the balls would be on.
35.
He carried the red from one side of the middle pocket to the other side.
The kiss on the pink was unintentional. That was another attempt to develop the last red.
Davis, flop.
The black would have been available had the red gone in. Davis was also calculating that if the red didn't go in, it had got a good chance of rebounding to safety via the corner pocket jaws. But now that Foulds has knocked in the last red, he's got half a chance of clearing to win. It would be a better chance than that if his queuing wasn't impeded by the pink.
If Neal pots the black, he's going to leave the cue ball some distance from the yellow, and his final decision is to play a snooker by the looks of it.
1, Neal Foulds.
Now it remains to be seen if he ever does get the chance again to take all the colours. Yes, and Neal's gamble on laying the snooker didn't work. It was an excellent shot from Steve to hit the yellow, but to keep it safe was quite remarkable.
Well, I'm not quite sure what Foulds played there. It wasn't a good shot, whatever it was. poor shot that was. I thought there was a reasonable chance that Davis would take on the yellow there. He only needed green in addition. But if Foulds can slip the yellow back into the middle pocket, his alternative could cost him the frame.
Two.
Turned out, though, that the potting angle on the yellow was too thin for Foulds to hold prime position.
Neal Foulds, 2.
This tactical duel on the green could provide the key to this fourth frame, a frame which will decide whether Davis leads by 3-1 or whether it's 2-all at the intermission.
Steve finally playing the green down to a position where he knew it couldn't bypass pink or black to the pocket. The green is on to the corner. But if Steve played it at such a speed to hold the cue ball for the brown and missed it, he'd have to leave them. So the big decision here is to whether to take the chance of potting it or play another safety.
Played the safety, but Foulds may be tempted to go for the green. A bit harder, and that would have been a very nice fluke. As it is, Davis needs only green and brown to leave Foulds needing a snooker.
Three.
Made so sure of the brown that he played no position for blue. With a difference of 24, Foulds would need 2 snookers on the blue, 1 to draw on the pink. Davis has spotted the blue anyway, so further calculation is superfluous.
And the frame.
Steve Davis leads Neal Foulds 3-1 at the intermission.
Very much tight tactical stuff in that match this morning, but Steve Davis, as so often at the Crucible, getting the better of things at the moment, as he has, in fact, every time he's played this man, Neal Foulds, apart from one occasion. 6 times they've played, 5 times Steve Davis has won, and Davis ahead 31-0 in this frame, but a red away for Neal Foulds.
Good shot, deserves to make a few now.
Seven. Eight. $13. 14.
Could have done with bouncing the cue ball further off the side cushion and above the blue.
The red to the corner is on from there, but he's playing this red again from further away than he should have been.
Neal Foulds, 19.
Not his usual straightness of cueing.
1, Steve Davis.
And that wasn't the sort that you expect to see Davis miss.
What? Six. Neal Foulds, 6.
And Neal just cannot produce the form that has carried him through this championship so far. He's been playing splendid snooker, but today he's just not
1.
dropping into his best form at all.
Six. Seven. $13. 14.
Needs to get the cue ball not only close to the red nearest the middle pocket, but at a fairly straight angle.
$20. 21. 26.
Just the penultimate red and a colour required to leave Foulds needing a snooker.
27. 32.
So now that the last red's gone down, this frame is surely out of Foulds' reach. 4-1 for sure, I'd say.
So would I. I reckon it went 5-1 after that as well. Steve Davis, no matter what kind of form he seems to be in during the season in general, always turns it on at the Crucible. And we'll be back with the next frame in that match after we've been to London for the news with Chris Lowe. Got the first name right anyway. Well, a bit chilly then, says Ian, but we'll warm you up this afternoon with the snooker, I'm sure, because we've got live play coming up from the second session of the day in the World Championship quarterfinals. That's just after 3 o'clock. But between now and then, we've got Snooker Break with David Vine. That will be at around 2:30, our Snooker Magazine programme. And in the meantime, we're going to carry on with our coverage of the other quarter-final that was going on this morning in this morning's session. That's Steve Davis against Neal Foulds. And for the world champion, things once again going rather well. Steve Davis leading 5-1 when we left it in this first session of 8 frames. And we can pick up the match now in the very next frame. That cue belonging to Foulds is 32-5 ahead, or rather Steve Davis, 32-5 down. And the commentary team, Eddie Charlton and Clive Everton.
Three. Steve Davis, 3.
Foulds again in trouble from that safety. Well, that's the biggest break of the day. Davis has demolished the icebox. So after a moment's hilarity, it's all business again. And Davis will be trying to clinch this 7th frame from this position.
7. Eight.
Davis hasn't played all that well this morning, but he certainly played well enough to get 5-1 up. Not so much with brilliance, but
14.
with absence of mistakes by and large, and a very good safety game.
15. 21. 22. 29. 30. 35. 36. 41.
Excellent shot. Couldn't have placed the cue ball better.
42. 49. 51.
Davis has made this break very authoritatively.
54.
He's picked up a bit of momentum as the session's gone on.
58. 63. 63.
And with that break of 63, Davis extends his lead to 6-1.
Eighth and final frame of the session, Steve Davis to break.
Yes, and again, Neal's attempted safety has finished with the cue ball a long way from the ball cushion. Steve not risking a pot, however. He's attempting to get them safe in turn.
Yes, that wasn't one of his better safeties.
One.
So Foulds taking advantage of the cue ball being nearer the red than it should have been.
Eight. Nine. $16. 17. 24. 25. 32. 40.
5 reds and 5 blacks. But a little straighter on his 6th red than he would like to be.
Neal Foulds, 41.
That was a chance to make a frame-winning break. There was no reason to miss the black.
6.
Not as near his next red as he intended. I think I saw him say, bad shot, under his breath there.
Steve Davis.
The sort of long straight red he hardly missed in his 2 previous matches, in which he beat Dennis Taylor and then Willie Thorne.
Attempting a shot to nothing there, playing one red onto the other for the centre pocket. Went reasonably close, but he's left them tight on Neal again. Yes, that's left a red. The red closest to the cushion is on for the corner. It's going to have to try and gain position on the blue.
1.
Yes, that looks okay. He has a line to the blue.
Six. 7. 10.
This is a good chance for Foulds to clinch the last frame of the morning now.
11.
But he's gone wrong.
$15. 16.
Brown and one more red would leave Davis needing snookers.
$20. 21. 27. 28. 34. 35.
So with Neal Foulds winning the last frame of the morning, at least the prospects of Davis winning the match with a session to spare are much reduced.
40. 41.
But the 6 times world champion has still built a substantial advantage.
46. 48. 51. 55.
Yes, I think it's just taken Neal too long to get going in this session.
60.
'And a gigantic sigh goes up in the Foulds camp after that, I'm sure. But what a good session yet again for the champion Steve Davis. 6-2 up, and they resume with their second session this evening. Stephen Hendry and Darren Morgan, good match that's turning out to be, as expected, really, 4-all. And there you see this afternoon, just after 3 o'clock, we'll have live play with Jimmy White and Terry Griffiths. Also playing this afternoon, John Parrott and Cliff Thorburn. But between
news of the Steve Davis-Neal Foulds match. Foulds has come back well tonight, and he's taken 3 out of 4 from 6-2 down. It's now just 7-5, and more of that in our later program as well.
$35. 41.
Not ideal position on the next red, but he's potting so well, you don't expect him to miss this.
49. $50.
36 points in front now. Still a little bit of work to do. Needs a good positional shot off this pink. Decided to play for a red into the centre, and this could be the key shot now to this frame. If he gets this and gets on a colour, it should be plain sailing.
Played it at speed to come back to the cushion and off, rather than just back. The extra speed made the pot a little more difficult.
Good shot that was. And of course, every half difficult shot that Steve Davis has got, there's even more pressure on it.
We're going to see whether his temperament's in good shape now. This is a time that he needs to complete a winning clearance. The tide of the match is against him.
Yes, and he's just come the wrong angle on the black to run through for one of these two reds into the left corner. The angle is just taking the cue ball away from those reds. So may elect to play for that red in the baulk area.
$8.
He's definitely rocking.
Neal Foulds. He's looking at the scoreboard. This red colour, one more red, and a psychological frame this. Started this evening 4 frames behind. This would put him level. And that looks perfect. Pink and one more red.
$7. $8. $15. $16.
Davis has trained himself to be impassive, whatever the circumstances. But there's a lot going on inside that head, I'm sure.
Yes, Clive, I think the most worrying thing is that it's not as if Neal has just gone for everything and threw caution to the wind. He's matched Steve with the safety, he's out-potted him on the long pots, and when he's got in, he's scored heavily. His all-round game has just been much superior so far this evening. I think that's the adrenaline running through there.
And the frame.
That didn't matter, but Neal Foulds has completed a remarkable recovery. He was down 6-1. He's levelled at 7-all.
Remarkable recovery indeed. Foulds tonight winning 5 out of 6 after being in the doldrums for a season and a half, suddenly playing like he used to. Back in the next frame, there's no score, it's Davis to play.
Well, I can't remember the last time I saw Steve Davis play so many safety shots, not cross the baulk line, and catch a baulk colour. And these long pots are usually food and drink to Neal Foulds.
Six.
Well, he looks to have a choice of reds here. There is one particular one that he could get position on the black, and that's the one he's playing. Tough pot.
Seven.
He is keeping his nerve well. Took the cue ball too near the middle pocket.
18.
Slid off the jaw and down to a tricky position.
Yes, and if he's going to carry on with this break, he needs a great pot here. There is a red on that if he potted it, he could get position on the black, but it's a tough one. But all pots seem alike. The pockets must look like dustbin lids. Well, that struggled in. And that's why he's moving his arm. He just didn't get the cue through that one. But it takes a tremendous amount of concentration. This is the 7th frame this evening. And he's done most of the potting and break building. But was fortunate enough when he just didn't get the cue through properly. The ball did go in the pocket, so now he can pick up his concentration again. As they say, it's on a string. Perfect position, good potting. And I was just wondering, Clive, a lot of these, well, the packed audience tonight, I bet they didn't think they'd see Steve Davis on the end of a, well, a bit of a drubbing at the moment.
57.
I must admit it didn't occur to me. But thinking back over Davis's career, he has sometimes been vulnerable when he's had enormous leads and they've gradually been eroded. But that was a reprieve for the world champion. Foulds leads 57-0, but that's still a let-off.
Yes, all was needed from Neal Foulds was the black, red and one more colour. As it is, all to play for. And as usually the case, when you're not winning frames, the balls don't run too kindly. He went into them nicely. He's got a red into the right centre, the one to the right of the blue. But it's not an easy pot, and no guarantee of position on the next colour.
So, he still cannot raise his game.
Neal Foulds comes to the table, 49 points in front. That red, black, and one more red, and should clinch it.
Eight. Nine.
That was frame ball, surely.
The red next to the pink doesn't appear to be potable. .61 in front, 51 on the table. And the extra red surely gives him comprehensive insurance against losing this frame. So, one of the most remarkable sessions we've ever seen at the Crucible continues. Neal Foulds leads by 8 frames to 7.
Yes, I agree, Clive, and what a remarkable night for Neal Foulds. 6-2 down, and now he's a frame up against the champion of the world. And the next, Davis has started well, but not for the first time. He's made a mistake, and Foulds is in.
So, here's a chance for Neal Foulds to get right back in this frame. And what an important frame it is.
Eight.
Well, looking at the red into the left corner, he'd love to pot that and run through off the top cushion for the black in the opposite corner, but the red on the top cushion stopping that, so may have to stun across for the black in the same pocket.
9.
But he's played it well.
Covered up a red that was otherwise potable, though.
Obviously very straight on the blue. Looking at the pink, but boy, that's a tough shot. I'm sure he'd be better served potting the blue and playing for the red down the right-hand side of the table. He needs a good pot, though, to keep this going.
23. Twenty-eight.
Great pot in this. And now in perfect position.
$36. 37.
Couldn't quite get the cue ball away from the top cushion as you would have liked.
Held with a beautiful soft screw.
44.
And of course, now he's thinking about that red tight on the right-hand side of the table. He's got within 4 points. Ideally, would like to pot this red and get an angle on a colour to try and disturb that other red.
He judged that there was a better chance of doing it from a baulk colour. Maybe just nudge onto it. But he could do with being a little closer to either yellow, brown or green.
Yes, Clive, I think he's having a look to see if he could pot this in the far right corner pocket. If he can, then he could pot the blue and just come over on the right-hand side of the table, leave himself the chance of the pot. And that doesn't look too bad. You feel as though he could play this, and if he missed it, it should just juggle in the jaws of the pocket and run safe. And if it went in, it could win him the frame.
That 50 break puts the pressure right back on the defending champion. No doubt about it. Davis is finding it a tough game at the moment.
So 3 points in front, a colour, and up to the blue for the greatest night, probably, and the best session of Neal Foulds' life.
Is that going to be the ball that he looks back on as costing him a 9-7 overnight lead?
Well, it'll take a good shot from Steve to pot this yellow. And Neal was very lucky there. Missed the blue and, of course, played position on the yellow, but hasn't got it. So, very fortunate. Well, Steve won't be too pleased with that. He knows that if Neal Foulds can come off the top cushion and hit this yellow full in the face, Steve's going to be in trouble.
Not quite full enough. That's not a bad touch by the look of it.
Yes, all Steve could do there was play the containing shot, but this leaves the way open for Neal to put him in trouble again.
It went in and out of the middle pocket, or at any rate all the way round it.
Hit that all wrong, but has got away with it. So on this yellow at the moment, I'd say it's about one apiece in having a little bit of luck. Well, Steve Davis has got to take this on. It's a natural angle to go back up the table for the green.
I'm not sure that he played it.
Well, if he didn't, Clive, then I'd be absolutely amazed. It was a natural shot to get on the green. I think he was just an awful long way away. But it's come up for him. So now Neal walks away. I'm sure feeling he's lost his frame now.
2.
Up to the pink required.
Steve Davis won 6 frames out of 8 this morning. Neal Foulds has returned the compliment this evening. They come back tomorrow morning, level at 8-all.
Yes, and they do, Clive. What a great night for Neal Foulds. The great man wins the last, but 8-all after Foulds have been 6-2 down. There it is. That's how we'll start tomorrow morning. 8-all and 5-3 with Parrott leading Thorburn. And we shall be back here at, what time? 10:30 with David Icke, and naturally, we'll have the match you've been looking at.
On Saturday on BBC Two and in stereo on Radio 3, Mussorgsky's opera Boris Godunov, live from Leningrad. Russian film director Andrei Tarkovsky's stage production comes to his home country for the first time in this collaboration between London's Royal Opera House and Leningrad's Kirov Theatre. Valery Gergiev conducts a cast of Soviet artists with British-based Robert Lloyd in the title role. The power and the politics of Mussorgsky's Boris Godunov on BBC Two and Radio 3, live from Leningrad.
Tomorrow morning is now today, and Steve Davis and Neal Foulds will play effectively a best-of-9 frames match to decide who goes into the semi-final. This morning, John Parrott against Cliff Thorburn, second session also going on here at the Crucible in this first session of today. And we'll waste no more time as we go into the arena now for the introductions to the 4 players involved in this first session of the day at the Crucible, and the introduction provided by MC Alan Hughes.
First on table 2, and a player reckoned by all his fellow professionals as the hardest man to beat, and the only player left in the tournament with the 100% appearance record at the Crucible, and the only player ever to make a 147 maximum break in the World Championship. He's won his way into our quarterfinals by defeating Cliff Wilson and Doug Mountjoy. He's ranked number 7 in the world. Will you welcome, please, Canada's Cliff Thorburn. And Cliff's opponent, one of the success stories of last season, when this quality player competed in no less than 6 tournament finals, including a coveted place in the World Final, and he comes here direct from his success in the European Open in France. To reach our quarterfinals, he's defeated Mark Bennett and Dean Reynolds. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to welcome the world's number 2 from Liverpool, John Parrott. And now to table one, and a young man who is having a fantastic World Championship so far, and he's shown us he's back to the form that took him into third place in the world rankings just 2 seasons ago. He's had fine wins over Dennis Taylor and Willie Thorne to reach the quarters. He's ranked number 20 in the world. Will you welcome, please, a very talented young man from Wentworth in Surrey, Neal Foulds. And what can I tell you about Neal's opponent that you don't already know? A model of consistency, always in the thick of the fighting, a great ambassador to the sport he loves, with nothing to prove, going for his 7th world title. Will you welcome into the arena the 6 times defending world champion, Steve Davis.
So we're all ready now to see this first quarter-final decided live on the program this morning. Steve Davis knows after last night that he's got one heck of a match ahead of him, but Neal Foulds will also know that Steve Davis has not reached the last 7 semi-finals of the World Championship by not being able to do it under pressure. Commentators John Spencer and Jack Carnham.
And Neal Foulds breaks off. A match which has now become the best of 9 frames, 8 frames all. First player to 13. Well, Steve certainly giving himself time for composure, and so he should. This is a very tough test indeed.
And so the first mistake of the morning by Neal, didn't hit that anywhere near hard enough and caught the red too thick. So chance of a red for Steve here, but will do well to get on a colour.
Bravo.
And that's a better one by Neal. He's restricted Steve here to almost one half of the table. He can get across, but it's very dangerous. Now that rather restricts the action of the cue ball now. That red at the end of the table is dangerous. Well, just a little short there. He was looking for a tight cue ball on the cushion there. And
Yes, Jack, in actual fact, if he'd have got the white just past the green, it would have been an excellent shot.
Yes, and that surely illustrates the point, John, doesn't it? I mean, from strength he's gone to being in a spot of bother here. And a very cautious start by both players, which is very understandable. Steve took rather a hammering yesterday, losing 7 frames out of 9. So Neal has his tail up this morning and may be scenting victory, who knows?
Final stroke, 4, Steve Davis.
Yes, and of course Jack's so important in the final session of a match like this. Whoever gets in first and gets a bit of a break together, gets the confidence going, so important.
Well, one could call that a mistake, but a little fortunate that he's gone down the cushion about a foot.
In actual fact, I feel that Neal has to take this red on. It is tight against the cushion, which helps a little. And of course the black's available should he pot it. My word, Jack, he was a long way off with that shot.
Well, I was thinking, Johnny, but by the size of the error, I don't think he tried. But if he didn't, my word, he got very close to the pocket with the cue ball. So that's a little bit of luck for Neal.
Of course, this is more Neal's type of shot. Doesn't miss many of these straight reds. Whether he's going to take it on or not, of course, depends how he feels at this moment.
Yes, it's a shot of total commitment. He, if the cue ball could run away freely to safety, he might take it on, but it's a tough one. That's a good shot. Well, it's not certain whether he can pot that red. I'm sure if he felt he could, he'd be having a go at that.
Yes, of course, this is the first frame. Had they already played a couple of frames, I'm sure you'd have seen them take different shots on, but they want to get the confidence together, get the cueing arm working.
Gee, this looks like a big one coming up. Oh, what a cracker. What a cracking shot.
And if that doesn't do his confidence much good, nothing will. Tremendous pot.
Three.
Well, he's faced with a similar problem here. Can't afford to miss.
Neal Foulds, 3.
And one could visibly see this snatch there in Neal's arm, just trying to restrict the cue action.
One. Icke. Come on.
And of course, this is ideally what you require in the first frame. A few easy shots to start a break going and gradually build your confidence up.
16. 23. 24. 31. 32. 38. 39. 41. 42. 47. 48.
So just the red and black.
54.
Required now to leave Neal needing snookers.
55. 62. 63.
'That's a nice one. Now, will Neal come to the table? No, he doesn't come to the table, so the first frame of the morning goes to Steve Davis, and he leads 9-8. And my word, that'll make him feel a lot better. And what a splendid opening. Both players really giving their all there, trying to outwit one another. And I thought for a moment there, John, that Neal, with a tremendous pot after a quarter of an hour of safety play, I thought he was going to break through, but slightly unlucky. He just didn't have the run at the right moment.
Well, in actual fact, he played, I thought, a bad shot on the yellow. After the good red he knocked in, didn't get hold of the white and left a much more difficult red to follow than he should have done. And I was a little surprised that he conceded there. I thought he would have played on just to get a bit of practice going, get a bit of confidence going. However, we're into the next game.
1.
Nice strength there by Steve. Just the bed not using the cushions at all and just rolling on the bed.
6.
And Steve getting back into a little bit of his old rhythm. Very noticeable. He's trying hard on the shot to leave his cue forward and stay down.
12.
Terribly important.
13. 20. 21.
'Well, he's got to do something here. If he can't get behind the single red, he's got to disturb something.
26. 27. 32. 33. 38.
'Just a fraction thicker on that red, and he would have been having a nice simple pot into the top right-hand corner. As it happens, he's got to use the rest. Makes no difference.
46. 47.
So certainly Steve couldn't have wished for a better start than this. And that isn't the best of shots.
53.
Would have been expecting to have been looking at a straight red into this left-hand corner pocket. We can still pot this.
Oh, that's bad luck. He wanted to catch the reds first there. The black took all what pace there was left, took it out of the cue ball.
Steve Davis, 56.
So that's a good start to the frame by Steve, and I can't help feeling that the table today is this first morning is playing a little faster, a little quicker, and Steve is taking advantage of that. He's getting the feel as he wants it. Alright, that's a nasty one to have to play. Even to nestle on a red here, there are too many open reds. It's very dangerous. Well, he tried a similar type shot to slip off a red there, and he wasn't far away actually, but I'm afraid he's put his foot in it here.
One.
Yes, and already 57 points behind. So just a colour and one more red would be sufficient.
Three. Four. $19. 20. 26. 27. 33. 34. 40. 42.
And it looks as though Neal is going to be whitewashed. Only scoring 3 points in the first frame. So he's being kept very quiet, which of course are perfect tactics as far as Steve is concerned.
49. 54.
Oh, well, it went in and came out, but no matter. An excellent performance by Steve Davis, and he leads 10 frames to 8.
And we are seeing in those first 2 frames this morning why Steve Davis is 6 times world champion. Just when it's needed, the overdrive lever gets pulled and away he goes. 3 points, as Jack said. Neal Foulds has scored this morning in those first 2 frames. And Neal looking a bit tentative this morning compared with last night when he came out and really gave it everything. And it's amazing the difference that it can make to a person's attitude when the finishing line is in sight. 5-3 then. John Parrott on the other table will be there in due course this morning. Now, there's the previous winners, dominated in recent times by Steve Davis. And it's a remarkable record, one of the most remarkable in sport, surely, that in this great world championship, Steve Davis has got to every single final since 1981, except 1982. So, 2 frames to him, and it's Neal Foulds now with a great deal to do if he's to get back in this match. But there's still time. Yours, Jack.
And Steve, patient as ever. No risks.
Yes, and that was rather fortunate for Neal there. I'm a little surprised he took that red on. I feel Neal's got to be patient and wait for an easy chance to come. Well, Steve has a possible green on into the corner to come down for the reds, but may want to keep it tight for Neal.
1, Steve Davis.
And Steve been very fortunate indeed. That was just the sort of opportunity Neal needed. A straight red into this left-hand corner, and the other red came and covered it up. And there is just an escape off this red for Neal, back to the ball. Well, Steve looking at a plant there. Of course, may have to be made. He obviously thinks it's on. And then other things that happen when things are not going for you. Neal played a perfect safety shot.
And that's not bad either.
16. 17. 23.
Well, he's left himself a little bit to do here. And played beautifully. Fraction short of pace, but not a great deal he can do with the cue ball here. Can't really force it around the angles, that's for sure. So he's trying to sort something out, possible plants or...
Well, obviously looking at the two reds, I think just above the black spot. And they're a plant as well, and so fortune's favouring Steve a little this morning.
But not this time. Looking for a full
39.
face onto the ball there, but slid off the side, so...
And of course the main thing, built up a nice 40-point lead. And of course, as yet,
39.
Neal hasn't really had a chance.
Well, that really is cruel. Played a very good shot. Lots of side to kick it into the pocket. But there's not much you can do about it when they're going like that. So he's just got to hold himself together. Well, has he left one? And Neal hasn't scored a point for nearly 35 minutes, and that's an awful long time.
Yes, and I feel those are the sort of shots Neal shouldn't be attempting until he's got some rhythm in his play. Things just haven't gone for him this morning. I mean, good pot there, went in off. Just hadn't had one chance to get any cueing going at all. And as you would expect, Steve looking more confident by the minute.
$13.
57 points in front. So red and a colour again required.
14.
And again, although Neal requires snookers, I would be very surprised if he conceded the game. I would expect him to play on and try and get his cue arm working.
And worthy of applause. Great shot.
Three more. 24. $31. 32. $34. 34.
And still not a chance for Neal.
Yes, and this is what I said in the first frame, Jack. I think Neal should have played on a while instead of conceding when he did. Give himself a chance to get that tension out of himself.
1. One, Steve Davis.
And this time Neal, despite the score, is seeing if he can knock a ball in.
Yes, and that rash shot there that Steve played could help Neal if he could just knock 3 or 4 of these colours in. Would help his confidence for the next game.
And that's the first time that Neal's potted anything with the previous yellow for 40 minutes.
Nine. Nine, Neal Foulds.
And Neal says, don't bother, Steve. And Steve takes the frame and leads 11-8.
Well, there's the century breaks situation in the World Championship at the moment. 13 so far, as we wait for the two players to come back. Steve James still out there in front in chasing that £12,000 highest break prize. Terry Griffiths there with a 131. Couple from Steve Davis, 118 and a 117 there. My goodness me, he's done well this morning with Neal Foulds scoring just 3 points in the 3 frames so far. And the second page as we go down, Willie Thorne out of the championship at a 109. Stephen Hendry and Jimmy White and Darren Morgan all still in the championship at the quarter-final stage, playing to a finish today. And then we've got Tony Drago, went out of the first round, and that 100 from Terry Griffiths that actually preceded that 131 he got in the following frame. So we had a quick chance to look at the previous winners before the last frame. Have a longer look now. John Spencer, the first winner in 1977 at the Crucible. Ray Reardon, one of his 6 world championships, and Steve Davis is trying to set a record in modern times of 7 in the championship this year. Terry Griffiths winning in 79. He's played in all the championships since then. Cliff Thorburn, winner in 1980, finalist on 2 other occasions, and played in more world championships than any other player currently in the championship. Steve Davis, 1981 for the first time, and then we hit the Davis era, which we all know about. So there's today's matches. John Parrott is playing Cliff Thorburn in their second session on the other table in this first session of the day, 5-3 up overnight. And Steve Davis going well in the other match. And Jimmy White, 5-3 up against Terry Griffiths. They play their second session this afternoon. And Stephen Hendry going very, very well, playing to a finish this afternoon against Darren Morgan. So Steve's back. My goodness me, he is, isn't he? 11-8 up, 13 they need.
And a little more power in the break this time by Steve. I wonder if he's deliberately just nudged them open.
And that little kiss on the pack of the reds giving Neal the chance to get the white back to the bulk end down the left-hand side of the table. And this is going to be a fine one.
Yes, a little too fine, John.
4, Neal Folds.
Yes, and I think Neal can get through to this red here, so a bit of potting practice he had in the last frame. Let's see if it's done him any good.
Well, I'm sure Neal was looking for 3 or 4 inches of run through there, but maybe a little bit low on the cue ball.
Neal Folds.
Well, of course, that's one that Neal shouldn't really miss, but his state of mind won't exactly be feeling fresh at the moment. I think he's under a lot of pressure now.
Well, that's just terrible choice of shot as far as I'm concerned for Neal there. Has to show a lot more patience. And certainly given Steve a chance of building a sizable lead up again.
1. 8. $13. $14.
This time Steve left it a little short on the blue, but it looks as though he's finished absolutely perfect between the reds for the black. And that's certainly not the best of shots.
21.
But things certainly going for Steve, but give him his due, taking full advantage of them.
22.
And that's a typical example. No idea what was happening to the colours, and has finished perfect on the black.
Yes, I'd agree with that, John, but there is one thing. He played that shot at the right time. That was the right time to do that sort of shot. And whilst things are going for Steve, one has to say that he's cueing beautifully. This is the best he's played in terms of cueing in the championship, and maybe he's coming right at the right time.
$37. 38. 45. 46. 12 short. Dave Davis 46. 4.
Well, a real steeplechase shot there, and immediately look to the cue ball to see if it's picked up a bruise. And Len Gandy treats that with care and restores it to normal. And Steve is just scratching his cue there with the fingernail, trying to erase the little burn that it makes when you chip like that. Now rubbing the chalk on. He took a real swing at that steeplechase shot, let his arm go and head up, which he doesn't often do.
And in the meantime, that safety shot from Neal, a much better shot than he's played this morning.
An enthusiastic applause there, and I think they're trying to encourage Neal to put his best foot forward.
Yes, and I think it's important if Neal can get the pink and get that back down this end of the table. Would be very helpful for him.
Well, you mentioned the pink, John, and I'm inclined to agree with you, but is that an indication maybe of Neal's lack of confidence at the moment, not taking the pink?
Well, certainly very surprised. It didn't look too difficult. And the black isn't going to be too easy to get onto.
4.
Now, can he get off this red and get out for the black into the opposite corner? And that's a good shot from Neal.
$19. $20.
And he'll be disappointed, I think, with that one. Wanted to go a little higher on the black. And that's the result of the bad positional shot.
27.
Yes, he tried a very difficult shot there. He played with tremendous left-hand side, which in that case would have been check side, which killed the pace of the ball off the cushion.
Neal Foulds, 27.
Of course, the big difference now, only 4 points between the two players in this frame, and Neal will be feeling a little better having put a bit of a break together.
Oh dear, well now. And Neal looking very disappointed there. It was a risky shot if he played a pocket, or whether he meant to get just past the pocket. It's difficult to say. Still gives Steve an excellent chance here of clinching this frame. Nothing easy, mind you. The red against the back cushion here. But certainly playing with a lot more confidence than he was yesterday. Well, that's upset the works. I don't think he bargained for that kiss on the red like that. Yes, that was a terrible shot in actual fact, Jack. 11 points in front, and he can't even put a colour safe. All he can do is get as far down to the bulk end of the table as possible.
7, Steve Davis.
Yes, that's a beauty. And a nasty one to escape from as well.
Yes, Jack, and there's no looking that shot. That was played.
Ball stroke, 4, Steve Davis.
Well, he went to the centre pocket as close as he could, but I'm afraid he just didn't have the angle there with outside.
One.
Well, he was looking for a straight black.
Yes, and again, another opportunity of clinching the frame at this visit gone. Just wanted to get on the black, screw down for the yellow, and it could have been all over. But I'm pretty sure we'll see Neal snooker here. Obviously behind the blue to put the black safe.
One. Steve Davis.
Yes, he looks relaxed today. Well, he's playing with side, and that indicates the slightest of swerves. And it needed that, and it was very difficult to judge, so one can't be critical there. And look what he's left. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, that's what happens when they're running against you. And of course, Steve just requires yellow, green and brown.
Two. Five. Nine.
So an excellent performance by Steve Davis. He's played like a real champion this morning. One must say that he's had to run a little, but nevertheless he's played beautifully
14. And the friend.
and
Steve.
deserves to be leading by 12 frames to 8 at the interval session.
Well, Steve Davis may have been looking danger right in the eye at 10:30 this morning, but it's a lot more distant now. One more frame and he'll be in the semi-finals yet again, and we'll be back after their break in 20 minutes' time to see the next frame live. We're also in this interval session, in this interval time, we've got John Parrott and Cliff Thorburn. We'll show you a bit of that. John Parrott 5-3 up at the moment. But immediately, 47,560 people have so far new matches to come. All the quarterfinals finished today. This is the first one to finish that we're going back to now, though. Steve Davis leading the way appropriately after what's happened this morning. And Neal Foulds, after that fabulous session last night in which he won it 6-2, and indeed could have won it 7-1, suddenly finds reality confronting him in the form of the 6 times world champion, who really has turned it on today after that terrible session for him last night. And really Neal Foulds has been a bit tentative, understandably so. It's one thing coming back from 6-2 down as he was after the first session. It's quite another to get across the line against the best player in the world. Anyway, he's got to win every frame left in this match if he's to pull off what would be now a sensational win. John Spencer and Jack Carnham take up commentary.
So Neal breaks off. And doesn't find the bottom cushion, and that is very important in the breaks. And that's a shot that Steve has employed 3 times in today's session. Quite a nice little shot.
Stroke 4, Steve Davis.
So the run appears to continue.
One. Four. Five.
So Steve now is in again with an early chance to get 20-30 lead maybe, which of course puts tremendous pressure on Neal now. There are no turning back from this one.
Yes, that's the problem, of course, Jack. The final frame.
13.
All the pressure on Neal, and every point puts more pressure on him. Well, you've got to give Steve credit this morning. He's made Neal pay for all the mistakes he's made.
19. $26. $27. $32. $33.
And this could be the crunch shot of the match. We can open the pack up here and get a good split. He could clinch it at this visit.
40.
Well, it doesn't look as though that red's come out far enough. So there's still plenty of snooker left.
And there, Steve refusing to open the pack with a safety shot. And that's well worthy of applause. That's a very nice safety shot there by Steve.
So a bit of luck there for Neal. Good job that red fell.
One, Neal Foulds.
Oh, that's badly played by Neal. He's pretty safe, but he caught that wrong, and there is a chance here. And I think Steve will make a better effort.
Yes, of course, the bad shot Neal played was the snooker behind the yellow. Let Steve off the hook there, and I'm sure Steve isn't going to do the same thing here. Be tight up against the brown.
One, Steve Davis.
Well, again, that was a strange choice of shot.
Not as intended by Neal. He didn't play that well either. He rather got up on the shot, and it's very fortunate to be hiding behind the yellow there.
stroke. 4, Neal Foulds.
And that's probably the worst thing Steve could have done. And I'm sure now Steve would have been wishing that he took Neal up behind the brown that previous shot. Ball's certainly not positioned easy for Neal. But he's certainly got a chance of getting back into this game here.
Yes, I think Neal was looking for a very slight angle on the pink there to disturb the reds, but whether he can, not easy to see. Well, yes, he's managed, but it was rather straight and he couldn't risk too much pace on that.
7. Neal Foulds.
And that's been Neal's problem, I think, this morning. Lost position there, but wouldn't accept it. Could have played a good safety shot down behind the brown down there and took what was really a suicidal shot on.
1.
So Steve just has a quick glance to the scoreboard to see that he's very close to the winning line.
Yeah, so you'll already know that he only needs 2 pinks in actual fact to leave Neal needing snookers.
$14. 15.
So this is the one he wants.
And he's in trouble.
21.
And that horrible feeling of this is it.
21.
And Steve there taking no chances, and that's the hallmark of a champion.
Steve Davis.
And there surely endeth the lesson. Well, it's amazing that Neal has got a little bit of luck when really it's of little use. And is Steve toying with the idea of a cannon here? Yes. Oh, bad luck. the first risk that he's taken.
Well, 55 points the difference. And the black in an awkward place. And if that stopped Neal getting at the pink, I mean, that is just about rubbed it in. So provided there's no free balls, 4 snookers Neal requires.
Well, I wonder if he'll end up behind the yellow here. And I'm sure Neal will say that's it. Thank you very much, Steve, and what a splendid performance by Steve Davis, who takes the quarter-final by 13 frames to 8, producing excellent form.
And that was a tremendous morning for Steve Davis, under pressure at 8 all, but 5 in a row, thank you very much, into his 8th successive semi-final, and now plays the winner of Jimmy White and Terry Griffiths, who played to a finish in 2 sessions, one this afternoon and one this evening. Stephen Hendry plays to a finish this afternoon. He's going well, 10-6 up against Darren Morgan, and John Parrott 6-3 up against Cliff Thorburn. And I'm just talking away on that caption because the man himself has just walked in. He's sitting down, the microphone's being put on. He's still got his stick, he says, and here he is. Congratulations. What a great turnaround after last night.
Well, I'd say it was a day of contrast yesterday. I haven't really had time to think about it. Yeah, I started off and Neal was missing in the afternoon. And at night time, the roles were totally reversed. Neal played to the standard that I knew he was going to play somewhere down the line. And at 8-all, I was pleased to be 8-all last night because I could have gone 9-7 behind. That would have been totally disastrous. But I struggled to 8-all last night, which sounds stupid from 6-2. And today, I didn't really know what was going to happen. I thought Neal might continue the push that he'd started. But sometimes, like the first couple of frames can make all the difference.
Yeah. And you opened up with a 70, didn't you?
Yeah, I got in. I didn't mismatch, and Neal gave me a couple of opportunities that yesterday he didn't give me, well, last night he didn't give me any at all. And it went from bad to worse from Neal's point of view.
I wouldn't have thought, though, it could be coincidence that you're now in, what, your 8th successive semi-final, and you've been in this position 1 or 2 times through those years, that when you've needed to do it, you've done it. And it must be a certain psychological talent to be able to do it when the line gets close, because some players can't, can they?
No, I don't know really what the formula is. Obviously, I could bottle it if I knew what it was, but I think what it is probably forgetting about what's gone on and just looking forward to what's going to happen without the fear. That's all I can say. I mean, yesterday was a tough day for us, but it was 8-all, so you forget what's happened. I mean, I had a 6-1 lead, but that really is out the window. You start off again and just play. And I think possibly simplicity is the answer to it. I mean, it's just not sort of thinking too deeply. Yeah. It helps if perhaps you're a bit on the thick side. No, you just.
Well, why am I any good at it?
Just get on with what you're doing. I don't know. I mean, it could have gone disastrously wrong today for me. And it did for Neal more than it did for me.
Yeah, you did say, I think it was a couple of years ago or something like that, that the attitude at the Crucible was to play a match that you desperately wanted to win, as if it wasn't the most important thing in the world.
That's right, as if it meant nothing, to play for everything. That is really how you've got to try to perform. And it does get a little bit easier when you've been at the Crucible for a week and a half, and you've got used to the conditions and the pressure and the atmosphere. But you can't do it the first day. That's why there's so many sort of scares on the first day. But some of the players who are capable of producing very good snooker over a sustained period, after a while get used to the atmosphere and can revel in it a little bit. And obviously I've been able to do that. And the players you're seeing now in the quarter-final stages are players that, even though they are under sort of severe tension in a match, they're able to produce a very high degree of skill that they can produce very close to what they do in practice. It seems ridiculous. If you're sitting at home, I mean, I've watched matches where I've had an interest, World Team Championships, and my hands are sweating. I can't hold a cup. But when you're out there, you sort of, perhaps as something else comes over
You're
you.
in control of your own destiny, aren't you?
Yes, to an extent, and obviously not panicking. And I didn't panic today. I know Neal didn't panic either. Neal's played very well. I've beaten a very good player today, and it was the dark horse as far as I was concerned, along with Steve James. And I had a feeling Neal was going to do very well in this. He looked very determined, and I'm very pleased to have got away quite easily in the end.
Now, quickly, when you didn't start this year particularly well by your standards, I started reading things. I saw one thing in one paper which said, Davis says, basically, I am finished at the top. Now, you've won the Irish Masters, you've come here, and surely, that even if you didn't say that, or whether you did, I don't know, but there can be no thoughts that you can't hold on to the #1 spot the way you're playing now.
No, I think possibly the article was true that I'd said that I'd more or less sacrificed the ranking #1 position.
Yeah.
Because by not playing in 3 events this year, it meant really that I'd gone behind and couldn't catch up the points by next season anyway. So that was more what it was about, but I've no intentions of sort of letting go of whatever the tag is. I'm enjoying playing snooker at Sheffield as much as ever. There's nowhere better than in the thick of it, and that's really where I want to stay. Well, it's getting harder, but it's just as enjoyable. It's probably more rewarding if you can do well.
Now, in the semi-final, you've got Jimmy White or Terry Griffiths, 2 players you know a great deal about, of course. They're both playing well, aren't they? I mean, Jimmy's got better the longer the championship's gone on. Terry was in the groove virtually from the start.
Yeah. You don't get bad players now. You're lucky if somebody has a bad session against you, really. I haven't really got a preference. Terry's put me under an awful lot of pressure in matches before. Jimmy can put you under so much pressure it's untrue in different ways, different styles of players. But I played them enough that there's nothing new. It's just all of a sudden, semi-final time, World Championships, get your act together.
Well, you always seem to, because you're always there. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
And all the best in the semis.
Cheers.
And we're going to go to another quarter-final now. We've been following it in the interval in Steve's match, if you were with us earlier.